Hey there, everybody. How's it going today? I'm going to try this as the third take on this thing. For some reason, my camera just shuts down after a couple minutes and just turns off, so I'll try it one last time. Maybe it wasn't meant to be. I decided to make a video here about just... this is going to be like a token chat, a smoke session. I haven't done those in a while, and I used to do a lot of smoke out where I'd smoke a bowl and talk about stuff, but generally I get too involved in what I'm talking about, and it's just, you know, too distracting. But anyhow, I've got a few different kinds of cannabis here, and I was just going to talk about my weekend because it was interesting. And right here I've got some Durban Poison. I've got some actually clone-only strain in here, which is Black Betty. And then I have some Durban Poison over here, which was always one of my favorites. I grew it for a few years. And then this other stuff from my buddy, which is like Girl Scout / OG / headband / something. He's always got these crazy strains. And then there's this, actually this joint here. Somebody got it, my mom got it for me actually for my anniversary gift. It was my anniversary yesterday. And just one of the, you know, just kind of a little kick down she got at the store. It's Alaskan Thunderfuck. So I thought I'd just toke out and talk about my interesting few days. You know, I started out, my anniversary was yesterday, and the day before that, we decided to take the kids out on a walk before we went, so they would be tired out. And so we went down to the river, down the Columbia River, and there's this park, and it's called Cottonwood Beach. And there's like a walkway that goes all the way along the river for several miles. I'm not sure exactly how far. But we parked and walked down. It's a pretty wide, big wide path, you know. People ride bikes on it and whatnot. And so we cruised down the path for a while, and I saw this barn way down there. And I posted a video about this the other day, or earlier today, where I showed the barn and what happened. But this old dilapidated barn and building, and we went down there, and right off the main trail, there's just, off the trail, it just turns into a little driveway road that goes down to this building, and there's no signs, not a single no trespassing sign. So I went down there, and we hung out, and my wife and the kids were checking out this little like building, and I saw this old beat up barn, so I decided to go inside. And you had to kind of duck in because it collapsed. I went to the back and looked for some owl pellets. My brother and I used to collect them and sell them. So I found a few. Came outside, and my wife's like, "Oh, the cops are coming." I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" We're like in the middle of nowhere. There's no road in there. They were driving down the path, and it's a sheriff. And if you look at the video, you'll see basically what happened. He's like, you know, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "What's your name?" And I'm like, "Why are you asking me for my information and identification?" And I was like, you know, I was being nice to the guy because he was courteous, and I'm not going to instantly be one of those jerks who's like, "Screw you, cop. I don't have to tell you anything," because I'm a reasonable person as long as they're reasonable to me. And he said they've got a report that some transients had been living in there. And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Do we look like transients?" And actually walking away afterwards, I realized I probably do. I was wearing this old thrashed flannel that my dad had. It was my dad's from like 25, 30 years ago. And, you know, my general method of dress. And then here we are with our, like, we have our backpack and stuff for hiking. And then we've got our 2 kids with us. And I was like, dude, there's nobody living in there. That place is thrashed. I just kind of made him feel stupid by the end, but, you know, he was a nice guy, so we let it go. It was just like, you know, I haven't been fucked with by cops for years, and all of a sudden, just out of the blue, when I'm with my family, and, you know, I'm so standoffish because I've had so many issues with cops fucking with me, I just can't stand it. And I'm trying not to dislike cops, because I know that there's a lot of good ones out there. So, anyhow, it was a fun day. We came back and then went to. We dropped the kids off, and then we went to McMiniman's, the Edgefield. The Edgefield is a beautiful hotel. I mean, rooms are like about 130 to 140 bucks, depending on like queen or king, and they have some other ones more expensive with tubs and stuff. But they don't even have bathrooms in these rooms, except for the few that do. And at first, that's a turnoff for people, you might think. But there's a public bathroom on every floor, like 2 on every floor. I think it's three or 4 floors total. And each bathroom has like a big, like clawfoot style tub. Like it's not a clawfoot, but it's, you know, an old metal tub. It's big, in a private room, and then they have 2 showers, 2 or 3 showers in their own private rooms in each public bathroom, and then really nice toilets and wood paneling. They're beautiful, and everything is like old school, vintage, and the paintings throughout the place are phenomenal. I uploaded a video actually last year or a few months back about our last trip there with some friends, and so if you're interested, you can look at that one, and it's got a lot of interesting pictures from that place. But it's very almost creepy. It's considered haunted, you know. And I've been there a couple times, and I'd never been to the soaking pool. And maybe I just thought it was kind of a small, like, hot tub style thing. But we ate dinner and then went down to the soaking pool when we were in a pretty good state of mind, and I was just blown away. The thing is huge. You know, it's got to be like 100 feet long, and then there's a little bridge, and then another, like, I don't know how far back it went after that, at least another 40, 50 feet. And then it was probably 15, 20 feet wide, with kind of a barrier in some spots separating, like, the sides. So you might have, like, a kind of a waterway that you can sit on the bench that goes all the way around, concrete. And it's hot. It's 102 degree water. It stays at a perfect temperature. And I think it's salt water, actually. It's very light, but I'm not sure the specifics of it. Beautiful. It may as well be a hot spring, because our original plan was to go to Bagby Hot Springs. And we thought we could stay at the motel, then drive up to Bagby. I didn't want to drive up to Bagby and stay there all night, because I wanted to get a decent night's sleep. And I knew that I'd probably take something, you know, that would keep me up and stay in the tubs. Because my friend and I went up there last year, and it was about 2.5 years ago. And we each ate about 1/8 of mushrooms and walked up to the Bagby. It's about a mile up, and 2 miles maybe. We get there, and it was like, we started tripping, you know, and I was thinking, okay, figuring maybe the peak was over, and kind of not in my right state. I hadn't gone into my trip yet. And we got out, and we were like, oh, let's leave now. And I'm like, wait a minute, we shouldn't leave yet. And like 10 minutes later, it really hit me, and we shroomed hard till like 4 in the morning. It was the night of the full lunar eclipse here a couple of years back, and we missed the eclipse. We were going to go out and look at it, the full moon eclipse, but we had missed the whole thing because we were in the tubs till like 3 or 4 a.m. Didn't even realize it. Time just flies, but, you know, it always does when you're having fun and doing things like that, right? Good times. Bagby's a beautiful place. It's a natural hot springs where they've put tubs, and there's like big tubs that can hold like 8 people, and then there's smaller individual tubs, which are just giant logs that are hollowed out. And then there's a trough that goes behind all the logs, and you just pull out a little cork and it fills up your thing. And then there's also a cold water dipping spring, natural spring that you can dip into, and to, you know, balance out the temperature if it gets too hot for you. Very old school, very vintage, and very cool. So, yeah, that was about it. We had a good time. We came home, and you know, kind of took a Monday off. Of course, I get back, and I've been working all day trying to catch up with the, you know, Carpus Botanicals thing, and get customer orders all sent out and everything. And it's like, if I miss even a day, it's like gotta keep up, and it takes hours and hours. But which brings me to the final part of my story, which is that once we got home, the night before we left, it was the 20th or the 30th, or I think the 29th. It was the last day that you could enter for the lottery, which was supposedly a first come first serve kind of thing for the Eclipse Festival. We missed the ticket sale in the window, which was only a few days, and we thought that they put more tickets on sale, and they didn't. So then they had something where you could buy an Eclipse ticket through Bitcoin, but we had to sign up for Bitcoin, and then after that we did it too late because we hadn't had the account hooked up in time anyway. We missed that window. So the last option was a lottery. It's like $420 per ticket, and I can't remember the name of the the pass with a contest thing. But we entered it the last day, put in our credit card information, and they say they'll let you know on the 1st if you get charged or not. So we got an email today saying that we got tickets. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'd asked the universe, I'd said, hey man, karma gotta come my way and help me out, get these tickets. It was really cool. The festival I'm talking about, it's called Symbiosis. It's the Eclipse Festival is what they're calling it. And this year there's a full solar eclipse that comes right through Oregon. And so they have a venue that's right in the path of totality of this eclipse, and there's a 7-day festival with like STS9, Papadosio, Opio, all these different artists, that I totally love. I mean, there's like 10 musicians, or at least DJs and bands that combine that are ones that I listen to, at least on a semi-regular basis, and some of them all the time. So I was like, we've got to go to this. And the only thing that kept me from going was the fact that I didn't want to have to get a babysitter for my kids. And then I found out that it was 12 and under were free. I was like, fuck, dude, we've got to go to this thing. So now we're going to this. I think it's like August 17th through the 23rd. So it's 7 full days. And they have like 4 or 5 stages. They've got all types of events and art installations, hot air balloon rides, I guess. I mean, it's going to be crazy. I mean, it's going to be a crazy festival. It's ridiculously priced. And that's why I never go to these things. But if it wasn't for the eclipse, I was like, I want to be in a place with lots of like-minded people during the eclipse. And this is going to be something special. So I'm pretty excited about it. God, I haven't even really had time to process because my wife just told me about it. And I'm still kind of like, did we really win tickets? Not win, but, spending $900 on tickets is not really winning. But... Dripping poison's good. So yeah, we went to, no, it's for the headband stuff. So we went to, our plan was to go to a lot of events this summer, but we also my wife wants to go to see the Dead, the Grateful Dead, what's left of them, Bob and Phil and Bill, they're all, playing together, but they're doing it with a new headman. A lot of Deadheads know Jerry Garcia died, of course, but depends on whether you're really in it for the music or for Jerry. I mean, Jerry was a great guy. I love Jerry Garcia, but he wasn't the whole band. They continue to make great music, and even though their headman is, and see, I forget his name right now, the guy they've got singing for them right now, it kind of rubs me the wrong way, his voice, but since it's the Dead, I love it. And I saw them last year as the Dead up in the Gorge. And before that, the year before that, we went and saw them with my friend. We took him, we drove to Cali and saw the Fare Thee Well tour, the last Grateful Dead kind of tour. It was they played all their old shit. It was just phenomenal. I just bawled. I didn't even take any drugs or get high at the show at least not the first night, and was just in ecstasy. It was amazing. And I was even behind the stage, but you could still see the band because they had it kind of open. But we got into that show. I managed to get floor tickets for the second day, and we rolled and had a great time. And I remember they played so much phenomenal music, and the singer for that show was, they had, Trey Anastasio from Phish, the lead singer of Phish and guitarist, and he is an amazing artist. And I'll tell you, as a Deadhead, it took me till, I was in the Dead from like 92 to like 90, it took me up till like 97 or something, like 4 or 5 years, even like 2 or 3 years after Jerry had died before anybody could get me to listen to Phish. I was just like, it's not the Dead, I'm not really into it. My brother brought me a live one, that's the name of it, a live one. Great double album with like phenomenal live Phish, and I was like, this is pretty good. So I kind of fell in love and started going to Phish shows. Not to replace the Dead, but because Phish is awesome. And I saw that whole festival scene, and that was kind of what moved me into the electronic music scene. I just love that whole... Just making sure the camera's still going. I love that whole festival atmosphere, but I don't like the big ones. Like, I'm not interested in going to the Electric Daisy Carnival. I'm not interested in going to... what's the other one? There's a few events. Coachella, for example. No, thank you. I'm not interested in a whole bunch of people just dressing sexy and wearing neon and glow sticks. It's more than that for me. It's a depth, a connection to the music. I can't wait to be sitting in a crowd of however many tens of thousands of people together watching the eclipse. Because we were going to drive down to like Mount Jefferson and just kind of hang out by the mountain, but it's going to be crazy busy everywhere. So, yeah, I'm pretty stoked, and I think taking the kids is going to be something really good for them. They, I want my kids to be exposed to culture, music, and I really wasn't, but of course I exposed myself. It took a while. I mean, I had a record player at the tail end at the 80s there. I had I was into like Wasp and Rat and Poison and NWA, MC Hammer, a lot of 80s and 90s type stuff. But over time, I built such an interest in so many different styles of music. My first concert, though, that I went to was I got tickets to go see Iron Maiden at the Salem Armory in Oregon. And that place is brutal. The Armory, it's like dark, dank. It's exactly what you would expect. And Anthrax opened up for them. And they played Cottonwood. And it was like going out and playing. If you're not a metalhead, you wouldn't understand. But Cottonwood is like the moshing song, and moshing is like the epitome of metal. And so here's this 15-year-old kid going in there. Well, let's see. I guess I was about 16 at the time, I think. Anyway, yeah, it was 91. Yeah, I think I just turned 16. But anyhow, I went to that show, and then after that I fell in love with music, started going to a lot of concerts whenever I could. Relative to a lot of people, not a whole lot, but, But music, to me, is like life. It's a lifeblood. It's fucking essential for me. Pardon my language, but it's an essential component of life for me. And without music, I can't say without music. There is no without music. It's not an option. My wife gets up and first thing she does is turns on Grateful Dead on her phone and puts it in the bathroom, and when she takes her shower, listens to tunes first thing in the morning, and especially right after we've been at a concert or doing something, we get into that inspiration again, and it's just like music all the time. It's great. So I'm looking forward to doing a lot of fun things like that this summer. It's going to be awesome. For anybody out there who happens to be a customer of mine, I will definitely let people know when I'm going to be gone. I'm going to post it on the site ahead of time, and try to get orders out. Because if I'm gone for a full week, I'm going to be gone for a full week. And so, yeah, that stuff was really good too. So thanks for sharing a toke session with me and listening to my rambles about life. The experiences, that we have are what make us, and, the last couple of days were kind of interesting. It was fun, and I thank the universe for those tickets. Symbiosis is going to be amazing. So, peace and love. Talk to y'all later.